What's up, sports fans? At Wednesday, 17th of November, and we are going to do a members-only free to the public today. Day got a little late, so we're just going to wrap this one up for everybody.
Yeah, we're gonna make one video. Should be a good one. Got like 11 games, I think. Yeah, excited to talk this one out for sure.
So yesterday, we went through this slate and we talked about just playing GPPs and game stacking the late one, and it looked close to kind of working out that way. I don't know about you, but I basically just took in what I put or got back what I put in. Today, I was looking through the slate. I'm like, okay, these are the plays I like, and then I looked at ownership projections, and all my favorite plays were the top owned guys. So today is a flat out cash game day for me, no doubt about it.
I get it. I think there's a lot of good plays on this slate personally. So there's different spots to get. I think there's spots to get different in tournaments. Some guys not getting as much ownership as I think they should.
Yeah, so I think we'll probably be a little different today because you don't tend to want to go as deep on the chalk as I do. So it doesn't mean we won't agree or disagree on certain things necessarily, but I think we'll probably view the slate just a little bit differently. So let's start with the first game overall, Charlotte versus Washington, which is, I think, a perfect example of a game that from a 30,000-foot view looks awesome for DFS. But individually, I don't have a ton of interest in, really anybody.
Yeah, same. Bradley Beal back takes everything away from Washington, so they're not really in play. And then Charlotte just priced accordingly, how they should be.
Right, if you want to make cases for, Kelly Oubre, who's got the occasional, blow-up game, fine. Avija has had some games lately. A couple other guys, maybe like a Plumlee or something or a Harrell, but I don't think anybody would make my ideal lineup.
Same.
All right, so we'll wrap that one up quickly. We'll move on to the next game. We got Detroit taking on Indiana. You got yours right now this time with Cunningham. I know you had been calling for the 50-point game, and he made his way in there. I'm sure he gets a little love today. What are your thoughts on him?
Like him a lot. I mean, he's playing big minutes, especially if he can stay out of foul trouble. No minutes restriction at all. That game was a blowout. He played 35 minutes. I like him a lot here. I wouldn't say he's like an absolute lock, but he's high on my short list for sure.
The hardest part with him is just that his team's terrible, right? He's getting better and better, which is kind of something that we referenced like a week or two ago. I don't know if he makes my ideal lineup. I'm interested, definitely interested. And I do like what you just said, that he played a lot of minutes in a blowout the other day, which is encouraging.
Yeah, he's going to play in any game.
Then the other guy is your boy Stewart, who, again, I wouldn't say he's a lock of locks, but they're going to need his size tonight. I think he's very appropriately priced.
Agreed.
Okay. A favorite between those two?
Between Cunningham and Stewart?
Yeah.
Cunningham for sure.
Okay. Anybody else in this game you're interested in? Because Indiana's at full strength, so I don't really have anybody there.
Nothing.
Okay. I was looking at this guy earlier today, not because he can't play, but man, it feels like TJ Warren has been out since the Eisenhower administration.
What's his deal? I feel like he hasn't played since the bubble.
Right? Last time we saw this guy, he was the best player in basketball for a week and a half. They're talking about maybe season debut in late December. I just feel like it's been so long since we've seen him.
Yeah, it's been a minute for sure. Nothing really from this game that I want at all.
All right, moving over to Boston against Atlanta. There's a few guys in this game as well that you could take a look at, specifically from Atlanta, because we have Bogdanovich and Herter are both questionable. If those guys are out, then I start getting kind of interested in a Cam Reddish.
I agree. I don't think it's a must, but I think you can look towards him and even Lou Williams maybe.
Yeah, it's it's always tough to know what Atlanta wants to do and what they're going to be in and out with. So I'm with you. I don't think any of those guys are locks. They become enticing. And the other guy that I think I would consider, I can't picture myself actually ending up there, but would be Clint Capella, who has played better. He's coming off his best game of the year. And with Boston down Robert Williams, he's probably a little too big and athletic for the interior of Boston. So not a must, but I don't think he's a lot of very high owned tonight.
I agree. I mean, I wonder what Boston's going to do, if they're going to start Canner or what their deal is. I guess the worry for me is that the game ends up going a little bit smaller and Collins plays the 5 late.
It's definitely possible. I can see that. Anybody from Boston that you're interested in?
Mm-hmm.
So the one guy that I would be a little enticed by would be Marcus Smart. He's been playing big minutes. He's coming off kind of a nice 4-game run right here, 34, 42, 28, and 29. Very affordable. You know they're going to want his defense all night against Trae Young, which is good for his minutes. Maybe it's bad for, his offensive production, but, we've seen this guy recently shoot 0 of 5 and still roll into 28 points. So, again, interested. Not sure he makes my ideal lineup, but interested.
Yeah, he wouldn't make my ideal lineup, but I think that he's not a bad play at all. For me, from Boston,
froze or
I don't know. I hear you. You there?
All right, we are back.
Yeah, I heard you basically the whole time. That was weird.
Oh, as usual, we're mercy of the internet. So I was just talking to Marcus Smart, and I didn't know if you had any interest in him.
Not really. My favorite piece of Boston would be Jason Tatum. He's played 2 back-to-back really weak first halves and blown up in the second half. One of these games, he's going to play good in both halves.
It's definitely possible. Again, he's probably right there as one of those guys I can make a case for. I don't think he makes my ideal lineup, but I have no arguments with him.
Yeah, exactly how I feel.
All right. So next up, we got Cleveland, Brooklyn. And this is a game that's got some plays for me. I think this is going to be a basketball game, first off. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't it be? Cleveland's good. I mean, I hate that Mobley's out, but I think it definitely should be a game.
Okay. As far as the Cleveland,
interesting.
How much is it?
10.
10. Yeah, it's in Brooklyn. Coming off kind of an embarrassing loss last night, I could see why it's there, but I think it's personally going to be a game. And then from Cleveland, Ricky Rubio and Chetty are 2 guys that I'm definitely interested in.
Yeah, they look like just like cog types that you can play in any format. Obviously, more priorities in cash games. I'm not worried about either of them like destroying me in tournaments, but they're fine plays.
Yeah, Rubio is a classic example the other day of why we don't get too excited when our guys ball early or too distraught when they start off terrible, because he was awful early in that game and then ended up being a smash play with a huge fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Rubio, I don't go as far as to call him a must. And then your boy Chetty, coming off his best game of the year, is very appropriately priced.
Yeah, I mean, he's cheap for his role. No Jared Allen right now. So that's the difference with Allen out and now Mobley out. I mean,
Love is back tonight, but I can't picture him playing big minutes.
No way. So Chetty's going to play a ton of minutes, I would imagine.
Did you watch the first quarter of this game?
Of the Brooklyn game?
No, of the Boston-Cleveland game from the other day.
No, I didn't.
Isaac Okoro looked like a superstar for about 6 minutes. I think he put up probably like 20 of his 28 DFS points in the first quarter. He looked really, really good. Now, obviously, it came crashing back down to what we're used to. Man, he looked like an all-star for a few minutes.
Yeah, he is not good, though.
As far as what Cleveland plans to do with their bigger guys, I don't know. They played Taco Fall a little bit the other day. Is Ed Davis I know he's played 7 minutes. So, I guess he's out there. I can't imagine him playing much. So I guess they're probably going to try to go small would be my guess.
Yeah, same. They don't really have any options, I feel like.
I don't think Taco Fall is playing 30 minutes.
No chance.
Okay. As far as Brooklyn goes, Harden and KD are just too expensive for me. If I'm going to spend this far up, I'm probably just going to try to get up to Giannis personally. But then the other guys, Brown had himself a game last night, so if you want to piggyback off that, go ahead. Otherwise, I think, Patty Mills is Patty Mills. He's going to start probably. He's going to play some decent minutes. He's capable of upside. He's capable of doing nothing. I think he's fine, but not a must.
Yeah, I'm not going to play him in tournaments, but you could do worse at 3,500. He's just not a good DFS.
Yeah, he needs to get hot from 3 to do anything.
I was going to say he needs to make 8 threes. Literally, if he makes 8 threes, he might get to 30 DK points.
Yep. Always the other thing to remember with Brooklyn is Nash has a tendency to get weird with his rotation. So as soon as you get comfortable with a role player, he can okie-doke or rope-a-dope you in 2 seconds. Aldridge did not play.
He was hurt. He was hurt, I think, in the first half. He was he had aggravated an injury. So I wouldn't take too much into that. And I think you could go right back there.
Yeah, it was weird that he didn't play at all in the first half. And then I don't know if you were like when the announcers were like, yeah, we haven't seen LaMarcus Aldridge at all today, and then like he got up off the bench, like they almost like were predicting it.
Yeah, he like was on the medical. I was like looking into it earlier because I did not play him, but I was interested in the situation. And he was like on the bike and was like rubbing out, I guess, his hamstring or something that he must have aggravated in pregame warmups. So then he was feeling better in the second half.
All right. Miami is a tough team to break down right now with both Dedmon, Adebayo, and Jimmy Butler all questionable. Big price bump to Tyler Hero. So there is that. I don't really know what to say about them until we know about those injuries.
Yeah, same. I mean, if Butler's out, I think you look at Bam and Hero. I'll say it like this. If they're all in, I'm not looking at any of them. If Butler's out but Bam's in, I'm looking at Bam and Hero. You can also look at Lowry, I think. If Butler and Bam are out, then, definitely looking at all the other guys. Dedmon, if he plays, for sure. If he's out, I don't even know what they're going to do. But, the more guys that are out, the more the other guys become in play.
Yeah, and then if both Dedmon and Adebayo are out, then I'm kind of interested in Jonas all of a sudden because nobody can stop him.
Agreed. I mean, then it becomes more like this is going to be a game, too.
Right? So we'll wait and see on this one. Not only do I like Bam better if Butler's out, but also if Dedmon's out, because then like you even think like maybe he's got a few extra minutes in him.
For sure.
So I don't have anybody from New Orleans, though.
Yeah, I'm not playing anyone from New Orleans, although Ingram was pretty good last time out.
I like him as a player overall. It's good to see him back.
The more guys are out for Miami, the more interest I would have in a guy like Ingram.
Agreed. Orlando versus the Knicks. Again, if you want to, the Knicks are just, there's too many guys. You know what I mean? Like you're always just trying to guess who's going to play well. I'm not interested in any of them.
Yeah, I'm not interested in basically any of this game.
Okay. Wendell Carter's played decently lately. I just can't imagine he actually makes my lineup.
Cole Anthony has been really good too. And with Suggs questionable, that does boost him for sure.
Suggs is going to play, I heard. So I still like Cole Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, I like his game.
Yeah. I've been impressed by him this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm going to pay 7-9 for him tonight, but I do like him as a player. Okay. Milwaukee against the Lakers tonight. Still no LeBron. Sounds like Chris Money Middleton is back tonight. Still no DiVincenzo, no Brook Lopez. I like Giannis. I don't know that I'm going to pay 12.5 for him, but if I'm going to spend way up, he's the guy I'd want to get to.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend way up. And so that answers that for me. But if I was spending between like him and Harden and Durant, it'd be him. But is there anyone else even over 11K? Westbrook too. Yeah, it'd be Giannis. But Giannis is like up there in price where like, I mean, he needs to give you in tournaments like 75.
The only way I start feeling differently is if we get a couple of scratches and like we just get like a bunch of guys under 4K you really, really like and you have the money.
Sure.
Like if the way the slate breaks down now, no, probably. But if that happens.
Definitely if that happens. If you get scratches and stuff and there becomes value that looks as good as the mid-tier, then for sure. But right now, like you said, the slate doesn't really break down that way. With Middleton back, it certainly doesn't help Giannis.
Yeah, I don't know how much Middleton will play tonight either, right? Like coming off, he actually had COVID and he was out for a while, so his conditioning's probably not great. So don't play him. I guess is the big point I was trying to make there.
No, don't play him.
So, and that also eats into Pat Connaughton, Bobby Portis, and everything like that. So as far as the Bucks go, it's really Giannis or bust.
Yeah, Giannis or bust. I don't think I'll play anyone from Milwaukee. Giannis is so pricey.
He is. As far as the Lakers go, look, like he's not the lock he was the other day because of the price adjustment, but I still like Horton Tucker plenty.
I like him. Definitely not the lock he was. They definitely did a good job in boosting his price. I don't know though. Like I'm not like certainly not locking him in at 4,800.
No, I think like he's projected to be relatively popular today. So I think like I would play him in cash games. The Lakers love him. I think he is with no LeBron, a 25 to 30 point guy, but like we've seen the upside now, right? He just dropped 42. He played 37 minutes. So not the lock he was at 3K, but I think I'd run him in my cash game.
I agree with you because I also think he's like around a 30-point guy, which is fine in tournaments. I mean, you'll take it, but certainly not a necessity on a slate this size.
Nope. That's it from LA for me, though.
Yeah, same. I don't think I'll play anyone from this game, even though it's aesthetically pleasing.
All right. Next up, Sacramento against Minnesota. I'm assuming you probably have a little interest in Russell because, well, you like
I
Russell.
always like Russell.
Yeah.
I like this whole game too. So yeah, I like Russell, Edwards, and Towns. This should be a game, like a paced up game, 2-point spread. I like this whole game. It's probably my favorite game on the slate.
It's another game that I like better from a 30,000-foot view than I do from the individual pieces, but I like the pieces better than the first game where we mentioned that.
Yeah, for me, I like them a lot. Like, and none of the guys are like that expensive either. Towns is the most expensive at 10-4, but even still, he's like 2,100 less than Giannis now. So he's not like even in that same price range anymore. Edwards and Russell, all these guys play huge minutes. Then you got cheaper guys like Beverly.
I would say, what are your thoughts on the way that DraftKings has adjusted to making these guys more expensive? Because I kind of like it.
I do too. And I think that it definitely makes you think, because usually how NBA's been priced, stars and scrubs is just always the way to go. Now, I think people are forcing that a little too much.
Right. I remember looking, like, I don't play on FanDuel, and I remember seeing like people posting lineups like years ago and thinking, man, like they don't even challenge you on FanDuel. Like you'd see lineups that like had Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden in there, and then like, still other decent players with them. I'm like, you should have to think about things a little bit. And I like how you have to think about things now. What about your boy, the Metu movement?
Yeah, why wouldn't we go right back there?
I mean, he got a price bump at $300. That's nothing.
No, like he played 32 minutes in the second start. He was good. Like, I don't know. I mean, he's just like he's not priced for this role. If he's going to be starting and playing anywhere close to that amount of minutes, and I don't expect like a double with 2 steals and a block every game, but he shot 6-3. Like he shoots threes also. Like, give me all the Metu. I like this game a lot. He's playing decent minutes. Yeah, I'm all about it.
Side note, you think they're ever going to free Marvin Bagley, or what do you think is going to happen here?
I heard that Detroit like is a logical destination that's been talked a lot about, and they were like showcasing him there.
Okay. I know you've always been a Bagley guy. It seems criminal that he doesn't get any playing time up until the other night.
He has really fallen off. Yeah, I'm a fan. Like, I think offensively he's really good, but he's another one of these guys. Like, defensively, he's awful.
Our boy Fox, too. Like, we brought him up the other day, and he was terrible, but he's been really good in 3 of the past 4. And with all the guys being so expensive, I can, like, you have to ask yourself who you think De'Aaron Fox is, because I think he's better than the 37 points per game. And he's on a heater now, so I'm interested.
I like this whole game. I like Fox as well. I also like Halliburton.
So sounds like this is definitely your favorite overall game on the slate.
For sure. I think both Halliburton and Fox are fairly priced. I'm interested why you like Fox over Halliburton at their prices.
Not necessarily. I like them both. I feel like I'm looking for ways to spend money tonight, so that's maybe like I'd be more likely to play De'Aaron Fox because I have a lot of guys that aren't too expensive. I like.
Fair enough. Like I'm tempted to just game stack this game.
I get that. All right, guys. We will keep moving down the list. Next up, we got Houston and OKC, game of the night. Just kidding. So Christian Wood continues to plummet in price, which is going to get him a lot of buyers tonight. It's really hard to play him with conviction, though, right now. And I'm a Christian Wood fan, but, I mean, we got a couple of upside games on the second and the fourth, but mostly he's actually too expensive for a lot of his production this year, which is shocking. Now, that could change tonight, but I'm very hesitant.
Expect this game to be close, though, which is a big difference. Like, I feel like when games are competitive, he's usually playing well.
Yep. Hard to trust either of these teams. When they played earlier this year, we talked about it, and Houston absolutely rolled them, which you should never get rolled by Houston, but, things happen. Porter Jr. he didn't go through shoot-around today, but appears to be questionable.
Thank you. That was definitely a guy I'm looking at the bare minimum, DJ Augustine.
So, they might have some guys here. Jalen Green could get a little more usage.
He's definitely for sure. I think Augustine at 3K, though, could see him playing like big minutes. And obviously he's not good, but like we've seen him be productive in the past. OKC's not good.
So on the OKC side of things, a guy that's been playing very well lately and is very affordable. I mean, I don't think you need to lock him in, but at this price tag, like he doesn't have a bad floor game, I think this entire year, which is kind of nice to know that like while his upside is limited, like there's no stinkers in there, which, it could be a good thing. He's got 20 plus and at least 10 in a row. He's dropped a couple of 7Xs and some 6Xs in here. So there is some upside and he's very affordable.
Very affordable. He's not getting as much ownership as I thought he would either. I like him quite a bit.
Okay. Sounds like we can agree there. And then Bazley is the guy that I'm always looking for like random upside. Like, basically the same price as Dort. If I needed a floor, I'd go with Dort. If I needed upside, I'd go with Bazley. And honestly, like his floor is not terrible either. He had a bad one the other day against Brooklyn, but.
Yeah, I think I prefer Dort, but I agree with you. It's very close.
So very similar place. All right, next up, Dallas against Phoenix. So obviously the big news here is that we have no Luka Doncic in this game, which is going to create some Dallas chalk. And there's a couple ways to look at this one. There's the way that, Dallas is undermanned, missing their best player. Phoenix might play very well and roll them on the building. The other way, and I know it's something you talk about all the time, is first game without your superstar, they band together and play well. And so the three dudes getting love are Brunson, Porzingis, and Hardaway.
Yeah, I definitely like Brunson and Porzingis the most. Okay. I definitely think this is the game. And I get why they're getting love. I like them more than the Cavs guys, albeit they're better players than the Cavs guys, and that's why they're more expensive, especially Porzingis. But they're all solid looks, and in like an optimal lineup, I do think, Chetty, Rubio, Hardaway, Porzingis, Brunson all make a lot of sense in a cash game.
I was going to say, Hardaway's been on a heater lately, so, do with that what you will. Brunson's a good player. And then Porzingis, who we talked about the other day, this is his time to shine, right?
Yeah. I think he's definitely a lock in any sort of cash game. And if you're making an optimal line, you just play him.
I tend to agree with you on this one. And then the other side of the ball at the center position, Ayton finally came back, and he is super affordable. And I think the most encouraging thing about Ayton, it's not the 39 points he had in the first game, is that they just ran him out there for 33 minutes right away.
Definitely. And after they said they weren't going to do that, and then they did that.
So, if you just look at his price, and I realized that there was about a week and a half off here between these games. This is a guy whose recent production is 6.5, 5.5, almost 7, and about an 8.5x right there. So he's very affordable for what he offers.
So if you're making a cash game lineup right now, you're using Rubio, Chetty, Ayton, the three guys from Dallas. What about Metu?
Yeah, they're right in there. I'll play around with it in a second, and then we can do any kind of GPP builds you want to talk about. All right, last game, Chicago-Portland. There wasn't any locks for me in this game. I think DeRozan, he's played very well in the absence of Vucevic. If you like him, I can get on board, but not a must or anything.
No, definitely not a must here for me. I kind of think this is a letdown spot for the Bulls after winning 2 games in LA. Like they're making a big deal about the Bulls right now. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to use anyone from Chicago or Portland really, except for one really cheap guy I'm kind of interested in is Larry Nance. Especially with the Bulls not really playing big. He's starting to get his minutes up 3,200. You could do worse.
Sure, you're right. 4 straight games of over 20 minutes. So, and I don't think he gets love today either. If you're looking to make let's say you like the chalk right. I do, and you're just trying to make one pivot to an unpopular guy. It's not crazy to think Nance gives you 27 DK points tonight at 5% or less ownership.
That's exactly how I would put it as well.
Okay. All right. So let's just say that I'm building for a cash game right now. I am going to start with Porzingis and Brunson. And I don't know yet if I'll get to Hardaway. So we'll get back there in a second. I'm just going to stick with Ayton too, because Ayton's supposed to be popular at this price. And quite frankly, he probably deserves it at this price tag.
Yeah.
Then next up, we go over to Cleveland. And I do think I would start with Rubio. And then I think Chetty slides in here really, really nicely. And so then we have to talk about Tim Hardaway is the other guy. and then Metu. So that's is where I would start by like, where do I get with Metu in my lineup? And this is just pretending like we don't know what's going on. So right now, if Jimmy Butler's out and Dedmon's out, but Bam plays, well, that's an easy sub right there for me, right? Like, I don't even have to think about, oh, I'm missing my point guard.
Yeah, you could easily put Brunson or Rubio. Yep.
There we go. I thought he was in there. Okay, so never mind. My lineup's a little different than I thought. I thought I was full, so I got 2 spots open right here.
This is where you can go like Hardaway and then whoever fits too, if you like Hardaway enough, which I think Hardaway makes a lot of sense in cash. Again, the Miami news and other news could change a lot, but.
Yup. So this is also one where I mean, I do like Hardaway. I already said that, so that's not a secret. But I don't love any of these other guys. And even if I
was going to say, this is where you could take Hardaway out and go Giannis and whoever fits.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Because if I when I spend up, and we talked about this the other day, I prefer to make my choice on the spend up guy. I don't want to fall into the spend up guy. I want to fall into the caps guy. Because then I go down to guard, and there's, right away. This is where like we don't love him, but I got no issues playing Patty Mills in this lineup.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Or Cam Reddish. And yeah, I'm leaving $400 on the table, so be it, right? That's not a big deal.
No, it's not a big deal at all.
Like, honestly, between the two of us, like if you had to add them up, how many times do you think you've kicked yourself because you put in somebody that was more expensive to like fill your salary cap, even though you didn't like them, and it didn't work for you? I know it can work the other way around, but it's got to be hundreds between the two of us, right?
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. That's definitely something that you kind of just got to forget about.
All right. So this would be the one way to look at it. The other way, like you kind of mentioned, is, with Hardaway.
There's other popular guys too. It doesn't have to be Hardaway. Like
Cunningham.
Cunningham. There's a lot of different ways you could go here.
Like, I know you probably like Cunningham more than Hardaway. So for your lineup, this fits. And this is where you could easily go Tatum.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's a solid lineup.
Yeah. So this is kind of a cash game look. All of these guys are going to be really, really popular. So let's just do at least one GPP build. Early in the day, we're still 4 hours away from tip off. Who should I take out and who should I leave in if you're building a GPP lineup right now?
I also feel like if you're making an optimal GPP line, I think a lot of these guys work. And then, you can just change around with the last 2 spots. I am interested in like a game stack though of the Sacramento, Minnesota game. So I'll just tell you what I have been working with while making the video. So just take everyone out because I'm going to go pretty deep on that game, except for Metu.
I was just going to say, can I leave in Metu?
Yes, you can. But even like on this, it's hard to game stack on this slate. I just really like all the different pieces. I'll probably have to get different with it, but you can fit all of them: Fox, Russell, Halliburton, Edwards, Towns. That's what kind of got me interested, is like I could literally fit all of them. Yeah. You got to play 2. I got to play Augustine and Nance, but it works.
Right. Or you take one of them out, right? Like maybe you feel like you want to take out one of the Minnesota studs.
Easily. You could take out Russell, Edwards, or Towns. I mean, if you took out Towns, then you got a lot of different room to play with.
Yeah, because like let's say all of a sudden like you want Bam in your lineup. Like if he's like all of a sudden available for what you're thinking of. Now you don't have to play guys you're not under interested in. Or you could fit Nance right in here and then just go with whatever, 5K guys.
Yeah, or you could go Porzingis instead of Bam if Butler plays easily.
Exactly. So there's a bunch of ways to do it. So, excuse me. Again, I like the popular guys tonight. I don't always like it when I like the popular guys, but that often dictates like where my money goes for the evening. Am I going to go more cash game heavy or GPP heavy? Last night it was GPP heavy. Tonight it's going to be cash game heavy. Then I'm sure it'll all get blown up in a few minutes when LeBron comes in out of nowhere, Zion's playing, and Giannis is out.
Yeah, exactly. It will all change. I mean, one piece of NBA news changes everything.
Right? It's why, man, like, can you remember when, like, DK first came out? And, like, people would actually, like, set their lineups at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you sometimes didn't even have to check again?
Yeah, that's way back in the day. Yes.
That feels like 100 years ago.
100%, it does.
So that is not the world we live in anymore. It is weird, and I know that it's just a coincidence, but in the time that NBA DFS has been a thing, like it almost lined up perfectly with like the Greg Popovich style of like resting your stars all of a sudden. Because if this had been a thing back in like the 80s and 90s, like we wouldn't have had to worry about stuff like this.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I couldn't agree more.
So, anything else you want to throw in?
That's all I got.
All right, guys. Well, good luck today, and we'll see you soon.
Yes.